Hi everybody and welcome back to the workshop. So what we're doing today, well, we're going to have a little bit of a go on the panel saw, the Axminster PS250 that was graciously supplied by my sponsors. Ooh, as if you couldn't tell. So I have used it a couple of times, but I've got a commission for a bowl, and I've got, well, I bought a long board of rippled sycamore, which we'll be seeing more of in a minute, and they cut it down into shorter blocks so we could get it in the car. So what I need to do is just trim one up on the panel saw to get it square enough in the right dimensions so I can start turning it. So that's what we're going to be doing. I'll get the camera freestyle in a minute and just explain a couple of things. I'll show you that I've got the exhaust port connected for the dust collection, and we'll talk about some other things before we actually get to cutting. So right, I'm ready if you're ready. Okay, so here it is. If you hadn't seen it before, it's the Axminster PS250. So it's an amazing bit of kit, and I'm so glad that Axminster chose this model to give to me, because the fact that it's got this sliding cross-cut table on it, that is just a huge safety point, and I can push things through with this handle with complete safety and lots of confidence. Obviously it's a bit of a beast with nearly a 3 horsepower motor on it, so yeah, very capable machine. So before I carry on, safety tip folks, while we're just going around the machine now, and we'll be measuring the height of the blade in relation to the timber, it is unplugged from the power. So while you're doing any adjustments and faffing around, never have this plugged in at a wall outlet or an extension socket or whatever. Don't take the risk, it's not worth it. So right, in fact I've got the string still attached, if you can see it here. So for that first scene that we've just filmed, I had my string attached to get me in frame. Don't need that for the minute now that I'm freestyling. So I'll just show now round here at the back. I'll just feel, yeah, so that's where it's connected to the dust port on the machine, and you have this smaller hose that runs all the way to the top of the blade guard. So that's going to be sucking up some sawdust, and then you have the main extraction hose there. So that's easy peasy to understand. Obviously you've got a bit of an outfeed table here, a bit of an extension table there. So yeah, nothing hugely complicated about it. A cast iron bed here. You've got a really good accurate rip fence, and this is the scale. And there's the handle for the rip fence there. It's got micro adjustment, it's got a sight bubble there so you can read the scale. Here now, here's the fence for the crosscut sled, and that extends way out there, and that's pretty cool. So I'm going to leave this mitre fence in, because we'll be using this post to clamp the wood down when we pass it through the blade, and also there's a further clamp which will slide up to stop the board wanting to rise up at the end, just in case there's any cupping in the board. So I think there is. When I put it down, I just had a bit of a gentle rock. So next scene is going to be, let's just think about now. Yes, I want to just get the blade raised up just fractionally higher than the thickness of the timber. There's no point having it an inch above your work, you know, only have it just slightly above, again for safety purposes. So we'll get starting we'll get started with setting the blade height, and I'll just use my talking tape measure to assist me with that. Right then, here's the board, and here's my
total in memory is 18 of 0 0 0 inches, millimeters, 0 millimeters.
Let's have it in millimeters. So let's just check the height of this.
64 millimeters, 46 millimeters.
46 millimeters. So let's just check if it feels roughly the same at the other end. So what I need to do now is, again, remember that machine is turned off. So if I go to about 50 millimeters.
52 millimeters. 50 millimeters.
50 millimeters. So it's got a fair ways to come up yet. I can never remember if it's, well, actually, right to raise. There you go. Just up some more. And then if I can feel that that's just floating above, I'll be able to...
Turning off in 5 seconds.
Right, that's feeling about right now, guys. So that's turned off, so it's saving my battery. So what I've got here, a relatively flat edge to use as my starting point. So what I need to do is just roughly work out, don't want to be cutting loads off this board, but I want to be trimming off this portion here. So that's feeling relatively good there. So I'm happy with that, so we'll get this clamped in now. Right, I've got the clamp here, just feel for that post. It's nothing more than it'll lower down till it stops. And I'll just lock that in place there. It's all very, very simple, easy to understand. And then if we just raise that now, and I can feel that it's pushed down and gripped that board. You don't want to over tighten anything, it's just so it's good enough to hold it securely in place. So that's that portion done. So let's just make sure that, right, so if I get that, just get that blade guard down now, so as I'm moving around the machine, it is actually just covering the top of those teeth. So that's pretty cool. And then, all being well, I should still be in frame. I've got this other clamp here now. So if we just push that up against the work, it's held securely in place, and because it is at an angle, that plate, it can't go anywhere, it can't kick up, which is excellent. So I'll just feel my way back around here. So that's basically all we need to be doing now around the sides, and we can get this squared up a bit more. It doesn't have to be perfect, after all it is going to be turned into a circle, a disc really, before we start making the bowl, but that's good enough now. That's clamped, blade height set. This is still locked to the sliding table, which we will disengage the pin underneath when we start making our cut. So right, next step. Okay folks, we have got power to this machine, so let me just move that back and let me just see if she fires up. Okay, so that's cool. The machine is now hot, so make sure everybody that you've got safety goggles on, and you protect your eyes. You don't want to end up like moi. And then we're really good to go. So I'm just going to hit the dust extraction power, and then we'll slowly, very slowly, we're not going to force the cut, we're going to push this through. So here we go. So there we have that first cut there now. Let's just... So that's cool, so we can flip it around now and make some other cuts. Okay, so what I need to do now is just measure this width here.
10 7/8 inches.
So it's 10 7/8, so really I want to cut a square, so I need to set the stop on this cross-cut fence to that. That's so the tape measure is going to turn off in a second. That's fine, I can just leave that tape measure out now. To those dimensions. So
Turning off in 5 seconds.
I'll just reposition the camera. Give me a second. Bonus scene. Ooh. Okay, so if we remember, it said 10 7/8, so I've just moved the mitre fence off to allow this depth stop. So we need to
1/16
just zero it.
including case, 3 3/4 inches.
So I need to have 10 7/8 including case.
11 9/16 inches, including case. 11 5/16 inches, including case. 11 1/16 inches, including case. 10 13/16 inches, including case. 10 13/16 inches, including case. 10 11/16 inches, including case. 10 11/16 inches, including case. 10 9/16 inches, including case. 10 9/16 inches, including case. 10 1/2 inches, including case. 11 inches, including case. 10 7/8 inches, including
so there we have 10 7/8. That was a bit protracted, but anywho. So what I need to do now is just carefully line this up with the end there.
10 15/16 inches, including case.
Right.
10 7/8 inches, including case.
Need to just think about how am I going to do that, because that's a bulky tape measure and it's in the way.
10 7/8 inches, including case. 10 7/8 inches, including case. 10 and 7/8 inches, including case. 10 and
So what I
7/8
need to do
inches, including case. 10 and 7/8
is
inches,
use the back
including
of
case.
the case. Let's get that there. Let's see if we can move this stop. Yes, that's the way to do it. Can lock that down now. This isn't millimeter perfect. It's just to have a square to fit on the lathe. So just makes things more balanced and safer for me. So that's cool. Right. And get that slid up to there. Just locate the clamp.
Turning off in 5 seconds.
So that's on there. That's that. That's that secured in place. Find that other. There we go. Slide that up. Stops any wiggle down at that end. Right. Well, I do believe we're good to go. Remove that. And there you go. So as you can see, it feels just nice and sturdy and steady. I'll just lock this table back into place. Yep, no matter which way I spin that, go freestyle again now. So, how's that? Is that better? I've zoomed out. So there you have it. Very, very nice, clean, straight cuts. And let's just remove that. And I've got a nice blank left over there for whatever I choose to do with that. So that's pretty awesome. So that's it basically, folks. I mean, very, very simple to use this panel saw, and very safe with that cross cut sliding table inclusion. So that's the blank there now, rippled sycamore. So I hope you've enjoyed me seeing me use this for an actual project, and yeah, lots of fun, nice and controlled. I'm very happy with it, and I hope you've enjoyed this little, excuse the pun, slice of my life in the workshop again. So don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and if you don't mind, I would really appreciate some more Patreon pledges to keep me in the workshop a little bit longer. That'd be absolutely awesome. So to my patron Ian, thank you very, very much, my friend. We know what you're doing to support us, and we love you dearly for it, my brother. Big hug, big hug. So thank you so very much. Bye.